Do 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 do. Your turn.
YMCA.
Oh, you're crazy. And Kelly's not going to jump in here.
I'm
with all this.
saying I'm signing 85 executive orders immediately. Because that was cool.
Talk about historical.
How about I'm
Talk
going to describe
about-
it better than that.
Well,
Wait, before you do
hysterical.
that, who are you?
I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
oh, and I'm Lee Barrows.
Okay.
Thank you, Kelly.
I was going there next before the village people and
Mhm.
all that sort of stuff popped in all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You guys should have brought your outfits. You could have dressed as the village people.
I could have dressed as the cop. I still have some stuff. Kelly could do the Indian because I know she's got a head feather.
Probably somewhere, yeah. I have a friend that's an Indian. I think she gave me one time.
All right.
You got a headdress?
I don't know, somewhere. Years ago, I had one.
I would. Yeah, I think I want to come as the Indian.
Mhm.
We could get out there and, grab some feathers from some birds as they fly by.
It might be some tomorrow looking for some
Yeah.
feathers.
Anyway, it's a Tuesday morning. It's the day after the inauguration, and for
Wow.
the second time around for Donald J. Trump. And boy, I tell you what, we got so much to talk about today. It's hard to figure out where to go.
I know
I
it.
think the next week or two will be filled because I have a beaucoup de stuff, all sorts of things to talk about, read, go over. If we read just and analyze one executive order a day, we'll be here for the rest of this year.
I'm going to tell you, it's unbelievable. When have you ever
Never.
seen a president like his parade rally that he had indoors?
Mm-hmm.
When have you ever seen a president just sworn in sit down in front of the people and start signing executive
It was
orders?
interesting. But first, for all the members of the Snow Watchers Club of Eastern North Carolina, here's a contest for you.
There you go.
I don't have any prize for you, but we'll talk nice about you. Whoever sends us the first picture of snow,
Okay.
verified to have been taken on this date, based upon the time that the image arrives in my email box, not Facebook or anything else. When it arrives in my email box, you're the winner. Not going to get anything because we don't have a gift yet. But if we get them up with a gift, we'll give you something. I'm sure we can find something. It doesn't count if you send it to our Facebook page or anywhere else. The first one with the earliest time of arrival based on the email arrival is the winner. I suppose you want my email address, right? It's kind of simple. It's rayfordbrown@gmail.com. It's RAEFORD Brown@gmail.com. All lowercase letters, no spaces, no dots, just plain old. rayfordbrown@gmail.com. We need your name, your telephone number, when and where the photograph was taken, because we're going to have one of our investigators run over to that address just so no one else can claim it was staged. We'll check it out before we declare the winner. We'll put them up there, though. We'll publish the pictures. Yes, it has to have been taken today, somewhere here in Eastern North Carolina where the snow is. Okay, we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
We'll check throughout the morning for the latest predictions from the National Weather Service. Right now, they're calling here along this big swath they call the coastal part of Eastern North Carolina, anywhere from up to a half inch of daytime snow.
Yeah, it's early evening tonight.
And then
yes.
In the evening hours after dark, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches.
Correct.
That's different than the 5 to 8 inches from a couple of days ago.
Well, I'll take 3 to 5.
Different from you may not get any of it.
We'll see.
Then it's a whole lot different than the 1 to maybe 2 that was on the boards yesterday.
I'll
Well,
take
you
1
know.
to 2.
As it gets closer.
I'll take 0 to 0.
I just want to see it. I'd like to experience
It's-
it for a little while, and then I don't.
It's
I don't
not
live
going to
in.
go away, though. The only problem.
That's the problem.
I
It's
don't
going to be cold
care.
all week long.
I just came from snow. It's all good.
It's expected to arrive sometime this afternoon, the first wave of it or whatever. How much? We don't know. It depends first on whether it actually happens, and if it does, where it actually falls. 3 to 5, let's just say. You can find 5 inches in western Onslow County and 1 inch, 2 inches, or 3 inches along the beach.
Sweet.
You don't know, or none. Forecasts call for anywhere from nothing the further west you go to as much as 3 inches right along the coast. Snowmen and snow women, here we come, right on the beach, y'all. Get out there and build one. Then send me the picture. It's going to remain cold. That's going to be one of the big factors here. Even daytime is going to be cold in the 30s. Even after the current precipitation is gone, if it happens, there's a chance for some ice accumulating later in the week. Thursday and Friday, they got some predictions for ice. Now that's when it gets nasty.
Worse. I don't like the ice.
Nighttime temperatures this week in the teens. That's where we were last night. Highs in the 30s. It's just going to be flat out cold, wind chill in the single digit range from 1 to 9 degrees. That's going to freeze. That's going to freeze the nose off your face if you don't bundle up. Wind chills are awful. They can really make you very cold very quickly. Penetrate your first and second, third layers of clothes if you're out there in it. So dress appropriately. If you have to go to work, don't forget, I'm going to jinx you. If you think about it, you could break down on the way to work and get stuck in that car, or having to stand outside that car to get out of the lanes of traffic. If there's a big old wreck pile up, think about things like that. Dress appropriately. You can take off layers as you get to work.
Another suggestion, because I gave my granddaughter all this same advice the other day. Put an extra blanket in your car.
Of course.
A couple.
Yes.
And a shovel.
Yes. That's good to wrap up in. If you don't have that heat while you're in your vehicle or outside of your vehicle.
And there's a gentleman over at the foundry here, the military guy that sits in there right when you first get in the door, hang a right. He's got some MREs for sale if you want some.
I don't think.
You will get hungry and you'll eat anything you can find. Those old stale French fries that
reach
fell
underneath the seat and get those French fries.
There are French fries there somewhere in everybody's seat if they go to a drive-thru.
Yes.
Except Kelly's. Maybe.
Okay.
You don't know?
No.
I figured Robin could find them. I know my dog can
I'll
find
tell
them.
you can't really get underneath the seats of the truck because they have so much mechanical stuff.
Yeah. You can't get under the seat of my car.
You can get under in the Jeep.
And then the back seats, there's no way you can get under the back seats because they're flush, but doesn't save from all the other stuff that collects in the other
I got to
areas.
get me one of those things that fits between the console and the seat.
Let
I have
me know.
more stuff.
Let me tell you what to use.
What?
A pool noodle. That's what I use. I got
Wow.
a pool noodle. I cut it the length I needed and stuck it right down
That is
between
an
the seats and the
excellent
console.
idea. Robbie, get the pool noodles out. We've got a bunch of them out there. I will be
yes.
carving one.
In fact, I need to get she's got an extra, let me know, because somehow I lost my pool noodles.
You lost your noodle.
I think I took them out to clean, and somewhere along the way.
Well, I probably cooked them over the weekend.
Well, I think one of them
noodles.
I put on a wire on the back side of the house, where you have your cable wire coming up out of the dirt and it goes into the house. I put one on that because when you're weed eating, it's too easy to get tangled up with the wire.
Put a piece of conduit. The pool noodle will come apart without weed
I
eater.
never had a problem with the pool noodle. It's still there. They're tough. I mean, they keep you afloat. They're going to keep a wire covered.
Did I see some flashing going on? Or?
I think
I didn't see it.
I saw something, but I don't know what it was.
Well, maybe it wasn't that anyway.
It could have been.
His second time at bat after a 4-year intermission.
Oh, yeah.
Time for him to gather his thoughts and make plans. He made 4 years worth of plans, obviously. And Donald J. Trump is again the president of the United States. Got off to a roaring start with about 200 executive orders that he's working on. He announced that right up front, from border security, a slew of orders, to one that got a lot of attention. This one got my attention last night when I was listening to him. An order preventing any weaponization of U.S. resources, including the Department of Justice, from investigating, meaning to harass, something Trump seems to be pretty familiar with, the previous administration.
Yeah.
I like that. That should shut the people the heck up. Well, I had to clean that one up.
I felt it coming.
Another order is one that I've talked about before, the Mexican drug cartels.
Yes, that's my favorite
I
one.
was talking with Robbie about this yesterday when we were driving around, and I said, you know what? Why not do what he actually did. His executive, the guy is listening to me somewhere.
Mhm.
This executive order designates the cartels as terrorist organizations. Now, hear me out. If memory serves me correctly, and most of the time it does, it has to be dug up from the deep recesses of my brain from time to time. Back in 2011, y'all remember back that far? 2011.
Depends on what it
On a
was.
Sunday, Osama bin Laden was a terrorist that was tracked to a compound he built in Pakistan. In the dark of night, U.S. helicopters with SEAL Team 6 members on board landed at the compound, moved towards what intelligence had determined was bin Laden's room, confronted, then shot and killed the terrorist. He had been designated a terrorist, part of a terrorist group. Given that the cartels are responsible for as many as 3 times, we learned yesterday, the number of Americans previously reported dying from fentanyl overdoses, does this make you wonder if the same fate lies ahead for the cartel members? I wonder what the cartels are thinking about that this morning. Give us some thought. If hundreds of thousands of illegals can slip across the southern border into the United States, could several SEAL teams and other special military units, perhaps even those little sneaky Pete's, the clandestine CIA operatives, could they go after the cartels inside Mexico? Bin Laden's security force stood no chance against our elite fighters. What chance would the corrupt Mexican federale police stand against any of our special forces teams? The
Correct.
answer is none.
Correct.
They won't even hear the bullet that gets them. Get it, pop up, you get nailed. That is what is going to be one of the more interesting aspects. And I haven't read any of them. In fact, I just listened to what he was saying. But what about all of the other border protection executive orders he signed? There's a whole lot that he started signing last night.
Yes.
I don't know the gist of all of them.
He started with, after he was sworn in, but he started with orders that had to do with his cabinet and
Yeah,
putting
right.
things together and
Yeah.
this and giving that the power. And then when he was at his rally last night, his indoor parade,
Right.
he sat right down in front of we the people and started
Wait a
signing
minute now.
orders.
Didn't we hear yesterday that, they were going to hide inside and not let the normal people see what was going on?
Yes, we heard that.
There were some things there, but then they had the special extra.
Yes.
Special. Y'all come on down. Come on down now.
Come on down.
Come on,
We've got a
we got you.
warm place for you to
We got you.
sit
Sit down, watch
and
it.
entertain.
Bring your ball caps. It's fine. If they're MAGA, I don't care.
That's right.
Wear whatever you got. Whatever
They
you wear,
entertained the
whatever you
crowd.
want.
There was like 20,000 people inside that
I could
arena.
not believe that. That
Yes.
was big.
And I was on edge all day yesterday because, whew, the traveling back and forth, the standing on the sidewalk,
no,
being
that-
in the arena. I was just like, come on, Secret Service, do your job.
Oh, they had every man on staff there available.
Yes.
And working.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still makes you nervous after 2 attempts.
A major move by the outgoing lame duck president dropped a bomb even as Trump's inauguration was
Oh,
underway.
yes.
Joe Biden signed pardons for members of his family and even more revealing for members of the commission impaneled to investigate the January 6th march on the Capitol during a Trump rally in Washington. Y'all remember that?
Mm-hmm.
A rally in which Trump was challenging the validity of the 2020 election. Hundreds of Americans who were tracked by federal agents to the rally and are currently still being trying to be identified from newsreels have been arrested and convicted and are currently serving prison sentences. Let's think about those pardons for just a minute. The pardons. Why? Why would a president pardon people unless he knew or greatly suspected that they had committed a crime? Why would you pardon members of your family unless you knew they had done some kind of a crime, committed any kind of a crime?
Right.
Makes me suspicious. And Biden knew his wonderful, wonderful son Hunter knew he was a crook. He'd been convicted of it. Makes me suspicious. He was convicted of lying on federal papers so he could buy a gun. He was a cocaine addict, which he lied about, claimed he was not on the ATF forms. So the president, to keep Hunter out of prison after he was convicted, pardoned him. Here's the cherry on top of that one. The fact that the elder Biden, Joe, lied to the media and the American public. He lied to us when he said he would not pardon his son. That carried a lot of weight with both the media and the rest of us at the time. He still pardoned him. He covered his tracks. He didn't have anything to lose. He covered his tracks, he thought, by claiming Hunter was singled out for prosecution. Singled out. Does this sound familiar? Singled out for prosecution, that the only reason he was arrested was because he was the president's son. Well, guess what, y'all? We didn't buy it. Hunter was pardoned, not only for what we knew that he had done, what he had been convicted of, what he was convicted of, but for anything else that he may have done that we didn't know about. That was just the beginning. Of the 40 convicted murdering scumbuckets who had committed crimes so heinous that they were sentenced to death by federal juries, El Presidente commuted the sentences of 37 of those 40 killers to life in prison. Maybe Nancy Pelosi's daughter was right over the weekend when she sent a public message to Biden's wife, Jill. Think about your husband's legacy, she said. Well, I think that is pretty much carved in stone now. What other legacy can this ex-president have?
I think this has done him in.
This is done.
But not only has it done him in, it has
Whole family.
damaged the credibility of the Democratic Party because in 2020, Chuck Schumer himself went on an interview
Chucky.
with CNN and made the statement, and I quote, so for all those, that it would be preemptive pardons would be a gross abuse of the presidential pardon authority. December 2020, Chuck Schumer, let that sink in, folks, made that statement.
They also did an interview with Biden and Kamala, and Biden said the exact same thing.
Yeah, he would not pardon his son.
Yes.
No, not his son. He said in general. He said that the pardons would be an abuse of power.
Because they were talking about the possibility of Trump trying to do that when he was going out his first term.
So once again, say one thing, do another, like the rules don't apply. But for everybody that's always saying, they've done nothing wrong, they lie. Because you say what you want, that's a lie. L-I-E, it is a lie.
I asked Rayford yesterday, Kelly, and I want your opinion on this.
Okay.
Looking at everything that's going on now and everything that's coming out now, when you think back over the last 4 years, the attacks on Trump, the going after him, after his business, after his family, the possibility of, the accusations that the election was rigged in 2020. Are you now starting to look back and think, maybe things weren't what they really, maybe Trump wasn't as guilty as he was depicted to be, as we were led to believe, yes.
Well, you mean, are you saying maybe Trump wasn't guilty of some of the things they were accusing him of?
Do you think that, does it appear now that the whole thing was a witch hunt the last 4 years against Trump to keep him from running?
I think the last 8 years have been a witch hunt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think just the last 4.
It started as soon as he made the announcement in 2015, late 2015.
They started it
and
then.
going in 2016.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. They went after him at that point in time. They started gathering the information, the info. They started gathering the ammo. They put Hillary Clinton, of all people, and her team, the Clinton Foundation, in charge of creating a fake dossier.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think
everything's looking different
but
now.
not only that, I think that
He didn't pardon Hillary, did he?
he didn't pardon himself.
But he gave Hillary a medal, so.
Well, yeah.
She can wear it on her way to the big house.
But I think, too, one thing, I think that, Lee, some of what you're talking about is one of the biggest takeaways, I think, now. I think this just proves that the Democrat Party, has been incredibly out of touch with the average American. I definitely think that.
I agree with that.
And 2, I think they grossly underestimated the reach that they had with the public because once again, it goes back to how I feel like they feel like the American public was too ignorant to know what was going on.
That's what I'm saying. Things are coming to light now,
Yeah.
and you're looking back and saying, you know, I mean, some of this stuff going after Trump. How many other congressmen or politicians or millionaire, how many other people have kind of gone the same way?
Well,
Yet you don't hear about it. You don't see them being attacked
Nope.
by members of Congress.
Not at all.
That's where
But
I'm starting to take issue. I mean, if you did something wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah. But now their own words are coming back to bite them.
Yes.
But this is where you want to talk about American public not believing anything.
Right.
Democrats have really got to, honestly, if they have any degree of intelligence at all, and I think a lot of them do,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to have to take a step back and rebrand.
Yep.
First of all, they're going to have to the ones like Chuck Schumer
Good
because
luck.
that are damaging their party. They're fractured.
AOC.
Yeah. Oh, she's
Been awful quiet. Where's Pelosi
No,
been?
she hasn't. She's been.
Where's Pelosi been?
Jumping up and down. Pelosi's hiding
She's
behind
been
her
awful
daughter's
quiet.
skirt.
because Biden's anti-Pelosi.
Okay, now
yeah.
we've got a person, a common sense lady up here in the hills of Tennessee. How cold is it up there, Jennifer?
It is 10 degrees
Woo!
currently. 10.
Ouch.
But it's warm in here where I'm at.
Well, it's 24
But I
degrees
just
at the air
wanted to-
station, which is on the river here, so that's kind of warm.
18
24
at
degrees.
your house.
18 in the backyard here.
Let's go take a
y'all
run.
might get some white stuff.
We got a blue sky right now, but we're supposed to get some of that white stuff this afternoon. We'll see what
We got
happens.
just not any accumulations. It just snowed during the day on Sunday.
No,
It was pretty, but I mean, it didn't mess anything up. But I just wanted to call and say how awesome all that was.
Oh,
And
yes.
I just now that whole deal with Biden and those, and did you know? And I'm sure y'all did if you watched it. Trump said last night he rode in the limo with Biden. He did not know that Biden had issued those pardons.
I know.
I mean, he didn't know. He said he never said a word. You know, he said we're talking about unity and the country being unified
You got
and
to.
all this.
Now wait a minute. Hold your horses
back
just
to
a second.
the
Do you really think that Biden signed? I know he signed them. Do you have any idea that he knew what he was signing? Who do you think prepared those pardons? It wasn't Joe Biden.
Oh, I don't.
It wasn't even his
I don't
idea.
I don't know who prepared them, but it probably wasn't. I agree. It probably wasn't his idea, but he knew what he signed.
Oh, he knew it after the fact, but I don't think he remembered it when he was in the limo.
And like y'all were talking, he knew back in 2020 when he said it would set such a horrible precedent for preemptive pardons.
Oh,
They were showing the flashbacks of it.
Yep.
Of him and Chucky Boy being interviewed, but I think this is going to be, now this is my prediction. First of all, you know, they confirmed Rubio yesterday.
Right.
fairly
Yes.
quickly.
With a 100%, there was not a single nay vote, straight across the board, Democrats, Republicans. I think the behavior of the Biden presidency, I think the behavior of all these preemptive pardons, because now I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm saying for the record, if somebody did that to me, I'd say, whoa, Jack, I don't want no pardon. I've not done anything.
That's the whole thing.
All that's doing is an admission of guilt.
In my
It
opinion,
is to do
he
something
thinks
like
that he or whoever wrote that thinks that those people are guilty.
Can you reverse a pardon?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's done deal. Yeah.
Not unless the Supreme
But
Court would act. I don't even know that
Trump
they can
needs
do
to
it.
pardon himself.
But I believe that you can't get all of them, But I believe that the vast majority of the Democrats are going to say, you know what? We have got to realign their party, or we're never going to be voted back in. I don't care who we put as candidates. They're not going to be voted back in unless we realign ourselves, because obviously the president that signs executive orders in the Capitol arena and then stands up and throws the pins out to the people is the president that the people want.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they, and like they were talking, they said that Trump answered more questions and engaged with the media last night signing those executive orders during that time than Joe Biden had in the past year.
Now,
I mean, there was nobody stepped. Susie, whatever her name is, he was standing over there beside of him because he spoke to her a couple of times. But she sure didn't say, all right, folks, that's enough. we got to go.
Nope.
I mean, they weren't scared of letting him talk.
No. Now, you do know that Biden is not nearly as slick as a lot of y'all thought that he was. He's not nearly as smart as a lot of y'all thought that he was, because in the signing of these executive orders, of course, he cannot pardon himself. However, if he was slick, yesterday morning, he would have resigned from the presidency, let Kamala Harris, well, I'm talking about pre-dawn, let Kamala Harris be sworn in as the vice president, and she could pardon him, as Gerald Ford did with Richard Nixon in the 70s. That would have been the slick move, but he wasn't that smart.
Well, I hope that all of this that we have heard them preaching for years, and I'm sorry, I know you got a few listeners that this is going to irritate the snot out of them, but I'm sorry, and I apologize. No, I don't. This is my opinion, and
Think about that.
Sorry, not sorry.
Most of us are tired of hearing about January 6th, for crying out loud.
Yep.
It's like Trump said last night when he signed that order. He said there's been there's murderers that have been in jail longer than these people from January 6th. There's murders that don't even pull that much time.
Yeah.
And that's wrong. That's wrong. So I'm looking for a wonderful next 4 years.
I'm looking for a secure border. I'm looking for the drug cartel to be eliminated by a detachment of special forces. And they can't do it on one sweep. They can do it in a bunch of sweeps, but send the rats packing headed for the ocean. Okay? That's what needs to be done.
And then with them making it a terrorist.
We did it with Obama. Not Obama. Osama bin Laden. He was a terrorist. We declared him a terrorist, and he built a house in Pakistan, and we went in and we took him out. What is the difference?
That's right. You're exactly right.
And besides, we know that they have killed 111,000 people in 1 year. Trump says it's been 3 times that many in the last couple of years that had not been counted before, which I don't doubt. So if they've killed that many people, that is the definition of a terrorist organization. No doubt. Yeah. So he's a terrorist. Go out and kill him.
Well, that's right. You're exactly right. Well, I just want to call her.
Thank you, Jennifer.
My 2 cents from East Tennessee.
We appreciate it from East Tennessee. See you soon. Bye.
Well, Redford, I just went back to check that pardon that Biden signed to make sure I had it right. The one I had sent you and Kelly. If you notice, it was dated the 19th. He did it on Sunday.
Yes, he did.
Of course, nothing was released about it till later Monday.
Yep.
Sneaky.
No, of course. Got a gale warning in effect from this evening, tonight through Wednesday morning, y'all. Northerly winds 15 to 20 knots, gusts to 30 knots offshore. Seas 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers going to be choppy. There is a chance of snow and rain this afternoon in the ocean, y'all. Northerly winds tomorrow, 20 to 25 knots, blustery, gusts to 35, seas big, 5 to 7. Sounds and Rivers is going to be rough tomorrow. If anybody wants to be dumb and go out there, a chance of snow and rain in the morning again. Thursday, northerly winds 10 to 15 knots, east 3 to 5, except 2 feet near shore. Sounds and Rivers a moderate chop.
Today, mostly cloudy, a high of 35. Winds will be right around 9 mile an hour with 15 mile an hour gusts. There may be some accumulation of less than half an inch today, but it's, I don't know. During the daytime, I'm sorry, yes. Tonight, snow, low of 22. North winds 9 to 11 miles an hour with 18 mile an hour gusts. New snow accumulation of 3 to 5 inches are possible tonight here. Tomorrow, cloudy through mid-morning, then gradual clearing with a high, folks, I said high of only 32.
Oh, wow.
The winds will be 8 to 10 mile an hour with gusts as high as 17 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 15, so nothing's going to melt. And then on Thursday, there's a chance of freezing rain before 10 a.m., then chance of freezing rain or rain between 10 and 1, then a chance of rain after 1. Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Mostly cloudy otherwise with a high of 38. And then Thursday night, a chance of rain and snow, mostly cloudy, low of 23.
I just got an update from a friend of mine who just gave me an update from the National Weather Service, and they're now saying 4 to 6 inches.
I'll take that. I'm going to make a snow angel and send it by video.
I just had to read that for Kelly.
Kelly's going to be snow angel it out in her yard.
I have to text our insurance commissioner.
So I'm all about it.
Yeah. Let me do a quick.
Well, I want to bring up something too, real quick.
Okay.
And I'm bringing this up, one, because I questioned it myself just originally until I found out it wasn't required. But two, there's some Democrats on my page that I'm friends with that have been losing their mind about it. So I did some digging to confirm.
Hope it doesn't hurt.
So yesterday in the swearing in, first of all, it was a little rushed, and all of Trump's family wasn't even up on the stage yet. Trump's had brought a Bible that his mother had given him when he first was did some kind of religious thing with the Presbyterian Church as a kid. He also had the Lincoln Bible that Lincoln had used, and only himself, Obama, and Lincoln are the only three that ever used that Bible.
And Melania was holding
it. Well, because they say in Justice Roberts hurried things, which things seemed very to go awry in general, and we can talk about that later. But someone had made the comment on my Facebook page that they didn't think he was legally sworn in because he did not put his hand on the Bible.
Not required.
So I said, I will check. And I told the person, I'll check to make sure, because I had already heard it wasn't required. And they're like, well, I checked the Constitution. Well, to be clear to everybody, Article 6, Clause 3 of the Constitution says, no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. So in layman's terms, you do not have to put your hand on the Bible to be sworn in. So controversy cleared up. So for all the people that saw that, when it wasn't by his choice, he had 2 Bibles he wanted to use. Let's just blame, if we're going to throw some blame
Justice
around. Justice Robert, I don't know what
he just started doing it before the family even got up there. Mm-hmm. And Trump had time to raise his right hand, and that was about, and Melania was scrambling to get around everybody to get up there.
Y'all have no idea.
Justice Roberts
what's going on in the earpieces of all those guys that are walking around that location inside. Well, you don't know what they heard or what they were suspicious of. Possibilities of.
Justice Roberts just got up and started doing it before anybody was even ready. It's just one of those things that happen. Mm-hmm. Nothing ever goes perfect at any type of event that you have. There's always going to look what happened with Carrie Underwood.
Music wouldn't play, but she did.
But you know what?
She knocked it out of the park. She was amazing.
The music started and it went through like 2 bars and then it quit. And she was just smiling. And when it became evident there was going to be no music to accompany it, to go along with it, she said to the crowd, she goes, if you know the words, sing with me, help me out. And she belted it out a cappella. And
it was amazing.
It was amazing.
I love her.
It was better.
She done good.
If she had music.
Yeah. But
okay, let's do this weather thing again. Well, you got a report from somebody who said they had an update. National Weather Service is what I'm looking at right now. The current update for the OAJ, that's the airport location, is 2 to 4 inches. Okay. For the rest of the area, it's 3 to 5.
All right.
Jacksonville itself, referring to the air station. Now, if you want to go over to Moorhead, it's going to be different. If you want to go inland, it's going to be different. It's
I'll take 2 to 4. I can snow angel in 2. I just want snow angel.
Just staying out of this.
she wants to be a. I got some. If we get out to my trash can very quickly, I've got a whole bunch of that styrofoam in there.
No,
You can
it's not the
crunch it
same.
up, and you can get down and wave
Let
your
me
arms
tell you,
around
that
it.
stuff when that crunched up styrofoam and stuff,
Yeah, you don't
can't get it off your body.
No.
Like, that is like, what is that
I
stuff
take
made
the
of?
vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, because
It's-
that
You can't
is
get it
awful.
Yeah, cool.
Because as kids, we used to.
Oh
My
yeah.
dad's company would have the big. We would jump in them, and we
Yeah.
would cover. My mother would get so mad because we trap it all in the house. But you can't get that stuff off. It clings to you.
Yes,
literally.
it does.
Oh,
Yes,
it does.
Yeah.
It does
So
that.
like, nope. One of the things that did occur yesterday, the border, some of the border crossing areas were shut down immediately at
Of
12:01.
Yes.
And that website where you can go in and apply for something,
Yeah,
it was
the
shut down. I forget what it's
CP
called. Something.
And the cards that
Yeah.
were given to the people that had crossed over. It was some type of program, internet program. They go on and get all sorts of information and do this, do that. Trump shut that down too. Nope, no more.
Mhm.
But I do have to say, looking back, I watched it from 9:30 yesterday morning till 2:00 this morning. I have never, ever seen anything like the likes of what I saw yesterday. Everything was just so historical. It was fascinating. It was very patriotic. It was just amazing the whole day. And I generally watch, regardless of who's president, I watched all the inaugurations. But yesterday was something different about it. And it is just as if other people were just felt renewed as an American.
Mhm.
It was fascinating.
Well, I think Melania also brought such style. She was absolutely
Classy.
beautiful, classy.
Yep. All the way
Yes.
through.
In all her attire, her original attire that she wore to the swearing in,
I love
and
that.
then her gown at
Yes.
the ball.
Would you expect?
Classy.
What
I
you,
agree.
What would you
She
expect? from a
reminded
supermodel?
me
Yeah.
back of the Jackie O days.
That's what I said to my
But,
mom.
but with
Yes.
training,
Yes.
a lot more
Yes.
training.
Yes.
Jackie was not a professional model.
Right.
No.
But the classiness, and there was criticism of her wearing the hat. Well, you couldn't
Why?
see her face. You couldn't,
I think she did that on purpose, and I made that comment. I really do believe she did that on purpose.
She's a very private person. And
Yes.
if you notice when she and Trump are together, they don't do a lot of lovey-dovey
No.
stuff. They're
They don't have
very
to put on-
reserved. They're very
But I think it's her
private.
culture. I think that's how
Yes.
she is.
I like Barron Trump yesterday.
Oh,
As
let me-
he walked up on stage, he shook hands
yes.
with the outgoing president.
Yes.
If anybody has watched any of the interaction, I think of all the Trump children,
Yes.
Barron
Oh,
Trump
yeah.
is going to end up being the most powerful, but also the most poised,
Right.
because he has that. He reminds me so much of Trump, and he gave a look to somebody, and I
With
swear it was
finesse
like
there.
watching Trump do
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
I think he's the most polished.
Mhm.
I think he is.
He's class himself.
Yes, he is. But he's very Melania, and Trump has said this repeatedly. Matter of fact, I read something last night that he had said Melania raised him. I mean, he's very close with his
yeah.
Yes.
mother.
Well, yeah.
But
'cause
she's
Daddy
also-
gone a
She
lot.
was very protective over him.
Very protective,
She
but
said
she's made sure he
Family
is
first.
multilingual.
Mhm.
He speaks quite a few languages.
She
and that's her
speaks
influence.
6.
Yeah, and that's her influence over
Yes.
him.
6.
6 languages.
So
Yeah.
6.
So I think that you're
Y'all
going
who
to
can't see what she did.
Take
She
my
just
shoe
held
off.
her
Let me
fingers.
take my shoe off.
you're going to see Barron, I think, more.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And Trump talked about him, having him do the podcast and stuff, which
Right.
may have given him a lot more votes than Trump has been giving Barron credit for, because he's young. He's 18 and a half, almost 19 years old now in school. But I think you're going to see him play a different role than the others. And
Yep,
the only
for
other thing
sure.
I think is interesting, you never see him interact with his siblings, his half siblings. I always wonder how they all get along because the kids all seem to kind of avoid each other.
Right.
Well, with him. And I don't know, what the interaction is, but he's going to be the one. I think he'll end up being the most up and coming of all of
Let's
them.
see, who did I see in Las Vegas? It was, of course, I talked to Don Jr. during the 2016 during the campaign.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
yeah,
had him on the air.
yeah. I remember that.
And then I had, but in Las Vegas, I think it was 2017 or 2018, I went there and I saw, this was at the Las Vegas SHOT Show. And of
Right.
course, one of those guys is a big time athlete. I mean, a sportsman, right?
Mhm.
Right.
He dives and he hunts and he does all sorts of stuff. He was walking around with security. He was walking around the gun show. 1 billion guns in there, it seemed like, but he was walking around that place.
I met
Pretty cool.
him and
Just-
his then girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, when Greg Murphy hosted a dinner in New Bern.
Mhm.
And this was, I'm thinking it was the second go around for Trump when he was running in 2020. I don't know. It had to be then. So I met them both, and they both spoke at the dinner, but it was pretty cool meeting them.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Okay, let's say, we got some other, so we're waiting for a call.
Yes,
From our
and
insurance
that
commissioner.
should be him
That's
right
it.
now. Yes, it is.
On cue, just as I made mention of it, this gentleman has got ears everywhere because I was just talking about him and he hadn't even called in yet. Then he calls in.
It
Good
was
morning,
ESP.
Mr. Commissioner. How are you?
Good morning, Rayford. My ears were burning, so that's why I called.
Well, that right around, if you're around here, that's about the only thing that would be warm because everything else is cold.
Did you get all your wood chopped last night, Commissioner?
I did cut some firewood late yesterday. I sure did.
Good. You
There
didn't
you
get any
go.
splinters
With
or,
a chainsaw.
Well,
oh my.
there you go.
You're risking life and limb with those weapons of mass destruction. There was a movie about that,
Oh,
down in Texas, about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, jeez.
Don't talk about
I
it. It'll
didn't
raise
watch that.
insurance on
Too violent
chainsaws.
for me.
Okay, Commissioner Mike Causey, North Carolina Insurance Commissioner, joining us now. And of course, according to something that popped up on my email overnight, your homeowner's insurance is going to go up by 15% by mid-2026. Fact or fiction?
Well, that's a fact, but you have to realize that the insurance companies were looking at 99.4% in 1 year, so it could have been 200% in 2 years had they got what they were looking for. So it was a tough battle. We were in court for a long time since October 7th, and it's a tough situation, and we're in way better shape than our neighboring states. We actually have if there's any consolation, we even have the lowest homeowners average rates in the Southeast.
That's
So
good.
homeowners is a tough market across the country. The insurance companies, they pull out all these statistics, and the word is for every $1 they take in premiums, they're paying out across North Carolina $1.15. The national average, I think, $1.11 in claims for every dollar taken in premiums. It's just a tough market if you can get it.
Okay, let me ask you, those figures, do they come on a year when we had such damage in Western North Carolina, or is this an average over like a 4 or 5 year period of time? Because we don't get hit by hurricanes every year.
Well, it is an average. In fact, what you're seeing today is a reflection of the damage from Hurricane Florence and Matthew and Michael back in 2018. So
Yeah.
it takes usually 5 or 6 years for the numbers to catch up.
Okay, so that's what it's based on. It's not just on any one given year then.
And then I always get questions about the wildfires in California or the fires in Hawaii.
Sure.
How will that impact us? Well, anytime there's a major loss anywhere in the world, it impacts what is called reinsurance rates. And almost every insurance company depends on reinsurance because any given insurance company will take a certain amount of risk, and they may cover $100,000 or $500,000 or what have you. But the reinsurance companies come in with the big coverages. They go up to $1 million, $5-10 million plus. So the cost of reinsurance over the past 10 years has nearly tripled worldwide, and it's just that's a tough pill for insurance companies to swallow. And then you look at the frequency of claims, and I know we just need to have better education to the public on filing claims because a lot of people will take a low deductible. They'll get a $500 or $1,000 deductible, and they will have a damage, and maybe that damage is $1,500, and they go ahead and file the claim, and they get a check for $400 to $500 from the insurance companies after the deductible. Well, guess what? That triggers rate increases, and that, I know it sounds unfair, but that policyholder will probably pay 3 times what they got in that check in increased premium. So I encourage people, don't file the small claims if at all possible, and talk to your agent to make sure you've got the right coverage, but also look at the highest deductible you can afford and try to stay away from filing claims that you could pay for out of pocket.
Yep.
Let me ask you this one. I don't know how it would work. I don't know whether there's any place there to do it. Would it not be wise for insurance companies to have a form that you can fill out? Okay, let's say I've got a $3,000 loss here in the yard for whatever happens. A car gets hit by a tree, or windows are blown in, or my fence is knocked down, or whatever, something that I could claim. But it's not enough for me in my mind to do it. Would it not be wise for them to know that here's what I had, but I'm not claiming it against my insurance? Wouldn't that be nice to have in your file? Is there any way to have that done? Would they look at you a lot nicer in the future in case that happened?
Well, that's what I like about you, Rayford. You're always thinking outside the box.
Outside the
coming
box.
up with these new ideas.
Well, what's wrong with that idea?
I think it's something that's worth discussion. I know that sometimes people just call the insurance company to ask a question about a claim, and it ends up on the record of the claim, and that that's not right.
Nope.
As you know, most of the coverage in the coastal counties is through our state plan, the repair plan, or I used to call it the beach plan, but it's actually coastal property insurance pool. But we have one of the best run state plans in the country. It's on very solid financial footing. It's well run. And one of the problems we saw in the mountains with Hurricane Helene, we also saw it in southeastern North Carolina with Hurricane Florence, is very few people, very few homeowners actually have flood coverage.
Correct.
So flood insurance is not covered under homeowners policy. So this is something I think the legislature will be taking a look at, that people really need to get serious about flood insurance, whether it's through the flood insurance program under FEMA or through private flood insurance. And one idea that I'm floating that I'll be talking with our legislators about is we had this issue of insurance in the coastal counties decades ago, and the state came up after months and years of studies and meetings and committees with the beach plan and the fair plan. And it's turned out to be one of the best run state insurance run plans in the country. And So almost 70% of homeowners in the coastal counties are under the North Carolina Underwriters Association or the North Carolina Joint Underwriters Association. But I really believe that the legislature could say, okay, everybody that has a policy with this plan is required to have some minimum flood insurance. And the average flood insurance claim is around $20,000. So you could say, if you buy a policy through the Fair Plan or the Beach Plan, the North Carolina Insurance Underwriters Association or the Joint Underwriters Association, you will have $20,000 minimum flood insurance with an option to buy additional. And this would be a tremendous help to all the residents across the state that have flood damage.
Okay.
And so that's the problem right now. People have lost everything. We saw it in Hurricane Florence. We had 100,000 claims. People got zero because they had no flood insurance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. One of the insurance deals that we face all across the state, but it's something called wind and hail. If you own your home, you don't have a mortgage on it, you don't have to have wind and hail. You can opt out of it, right? But
Well, you don't have to have homeowners either. If you own the home, you could.
Yeah, right. I understand that, but most people will have homeowners. But wind and hail, in a lot of cases, my homeowners is very reasonable. You add wind and hail, it's 3 times as much.
Not mine.
Well, mine is, if that's what they want to do.
I've always had mine included in my policy.
Yeah, but you don't know how much it is separately, do you?
It's not that much more, not with the one I was using.
Okay, well.
Because remember I worked over at the insurance office for a while.
Yeah, well, I need to check into
Hey,
that
you're
again.
smart, Rayford. You better listen.
I know.
They got some good ideas too. Well, yeah, you can take the risk, but are you willing to take that risk?
I don't know.
That's the question.
And if you've got here's one of the things that the way that wind and hail was explained to me. Okay, so you come along, it doesn't matter, and you get a few shingles blown off your house during a storm, and it doesn't even have to be a hurricane, but then the roof leaks, you get water coming in, and you got a lot of damage from water. It's not covered because wind blew the roof off for part of it. Is that the way it works?
Well, I would defer to the agent and the company. They do have some sticky rules on that, but I would ask those questions when you're buying that policy to make sure you know what's covered and what's not. But
Should be.
If a tree blows a limb and punches a hole in your roof,
That's wind.
then you have an obligation to make sure you protect from further damage. So if you just leave it open and let the water come in, that's on you. But you have to take reasonable measures to keep further damage from happening.
I got that, but if you do, I mean, you're not going to go out there when the wind's blowing 140 miles an hour. But if you do have a limb come down, or if you have even just shingles blown off the roof, and you get up there just as quickly as you can, and sometimes, as you know, after Florence, you could not get somebody to climb on your roof for several days at times. It was a problem around here to get those blue tarps. They ran out of blue tarps to even cover the roof with. So if you did not have wind and hail damage, the wind caused the damage, the water came in. But because the wind caused the damage, the way the insurance companies were explaining it, we don't have to cover it. Flood is when it comes up from the bottom.
Right.
Rain, damage comes from the sky.
Well, there again, I would make sure you have an agent, preferably a local agent, that you can talk with, that you can pick up the phone and give a call and let that agent explain what their company's policies are. And if somebody has a claim and they can't get the claim paid to their satisfaction, give us a call at the Department of Insurance, because we have people every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and all they do is help policyholders settle disputes with insurance companies. So
Excellent.
you don't have to go out. I know the attorneys would rather you hire the attorneys and let them get a cut, but if you hire us, it's free, and we're not trying to sell anything.
That's one of the 4-letter words I like. Free.
Okay, I have a question, Mike. This is Lee.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, you have settled with the rate bureau over the insurance rates. Now, is this good for the next 2 years? Do we run the risk of 3 years from now they're coming back a month more? I mean, how long is this good for?
20 minutes.
Well, till 2027. They cannot come back and ask for a rate. So 2 more years.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. Well,
And you have to realize that we're the only state that has a rate bureau like this. In some states, the companies can just go ahead and file whatever they want to and charge it. And
no.
you have a choice of paying it or shopping around. I do urge people to shop around. So many people say, well, I'm loyal to this company, been with the same company for 27 years. But I had a couple that had been with the same insurance company. I won't mention the name, but they just felt this was one of the best companies, but their homeowners kept going up and up. And the last year it was nearly doubled. And they asked me about it. And I said, well, I'll just say shop around. And they actually found a company that's local in North Carolina that was almost half the premium for equivalent or better coverage. And so you just don't know till you look around and talk with different agents. Make sure it's a sound financial company that's able to pay the claims. Because
that's true.
And this particular company happened to be a small company, a county mutual, but it certainly had the financial standing to take care of any claims.
Well, that's good. Now, we want an insurance bureau to represent us here in North Carolina. We don't want to have to go hire an attorney, and then they're going to have to add a fee to whatever they go after from the insurance company. So the insurance company will actually have to pay more if the insurance company loses in court, but the attorney gets money. Then our rates are still going to go up. Oh, my God.
Well,
making all this hard.
I always say the free market's the best regulator, but this system has been in place since 1977. That's when the legislature put this state law into effect, and it's worked very well overall to keep North Carolina one of the best in the nation. I think we actually have the best in the nation when it comes to a healthy, stable insurance market. You look at what's happening in California, Florida, Louisiana, some of these other states,
It's bad.
and people think they're paying a lot in North Carolina. You go compare what you're paying here to these other states, and you'll thank the Lord that you're not in those other states.
Yeah. I agree with you. Michael, thank you, sir. We do appreciate it as usual.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. If you need help, call the Department of Insurance. Go to the website, ncdoi.gov.
That's easy
No, I'm
enough.
calling you.
Yeah, I won't call you. We got your number.
Well, I know. Call Rayford. Doug Rayford. And he'll tell me. All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Mike Causey, Commissioner of Insurance, Department of Insurance here in North Carolina, as DOI.gov, right? ncdoi.gov.
That's correct.
So if you got issues, do it up. You can call. You can look it up and Google it. You can get the telephone number and call, and you can go direct if you want to do it that way. By phone.
I'll post the ncdoi.gov. It's right there, and that's the easiest thing to do. Just go right through them.
They can answer your questions,
Right.
And they can't answer your questions for what your insurance company is going to be doing, but they can answer any and see if if what your insurance company is doing is legit.
Mhm.
If it's not legit, then, you can file a complaint and the DOI they'll take action. They got a whole bunch of lawyers there.
Well, you were talking about insurances now because my house still has a little bit more to go on the
Mhm.
mortgage, but I have the complete wind and hail, everything all inclusive in one company. And I have a great company. And in fact, I wrote the insurance policy up myself when it was time for renewal back in the day when I was working there. But yeah, all mine's inclusive. I don't have to go to another company for wind and hail. It's all one company.
Understand?
And it's a pretty good price. So
Okay, a chance of snow mainly after 4 o'clock today.
Yes.
For this, I'm going to give you the Moorhead report now. They're predicting they're in Moorhead 3 to 7 inches tonight. But their temperature is not going to be as low as ours. It's all over the place. New
Mhm.
snow and sleet accumulation 3 to 7 inches in Moorhead, downtown Moorhead. And in other parts of the state, I just looked around in eastern North Carolina along the coastal area here. And right now here it is in the 20s, and in Moorhead, downtown Moorhead now Beaufort at the airport there, Beaufort Smithfield, it's 31 degrees there.
wow.
That's how much things
Wow.
can vary just over 30 miles or 40 miles.
Right. Oh, you went
No.
up 2 degrees here.
I sent you on our Skype. The National Weather Service put out something
I
an
saw that.
hour ago.
And it's the
Um,
same one I got.
Yeah, 4 to 6 inches for Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Their page must not have updated at the time.
Yeah, but it says it came out an hour ago. So
I am going to look at now the one when I punch up the way I've got it set up here to punch up.
Mhm.
It's the local National Weather Service
I just
that
punched
says
in their
Jacksonville. The location is a New River Air Station.
Right.
Okay, there's a
Yeah.
difference there than at OAJ at the airport.
Yep.
So they've got 2 locations here in Onslow County that they look at. I don't know which
Right.
one you were looking at. Right now,
I was on their Facebook page.
3 to 5 inches right now
Mhm.
directly at Newport for tonight at the air station. Now, let me just go over to OAJ real quick, like you guys.
What's an inch?
It's
Look at Snow Angel. Like I can guarantee I can make a snow angel with an inch. So I'm cool
We
with
could
that.
end up getting less than 2 inches, or we could
yes,
get
we
8.
could.
We don't know.
Easily do that.
Well, and there's no school today or
2 to
tomorrow.
4
so you don't have
inches.
to worry about it.
2 to
Teachers
4
work day.
inches at OAJ for tonight.
Mhm.
3 to 5 at the air station, and somebody else has got 4 to 6. It's where in Onslow County. It's a big area.
Kelly and I will settle for the middle. We'll take 5.
We'll take 5.
Take whatever you get.
Excited about it.
On this day, the year
Yes.
1977, the day after the inauguration,
Mhm.
a guy named Carter.
Mhm.
He granted an unconditional pardon to hundreds of thousands of men who evaded the draft during the Vietnam War. 100,000 young Americans went abroad in the late 1960s and early 70s to avoid serving in the draft situation.
Hmm.
They could have been indicted. They could have been arrested.
Right.
They could have been jailed.
Yeah.
He pardoned them.
Okay.
Right.
So he outdid Trump and Biden
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
together.
Yeah, well, it started back with Abraham Lincoln. He
Mhm.
pardoned his sister-in-law. And then you've got Bill Clinton, who pardoned his brother, who was arrested for drunk driving and cocaine.
Oh, his brother was a hoot and a half.
Yes, yes.
Who do we got there?
I believe that's Royce Bennett, I think.
Is that who we have? Royce, is that you?
It is.
Hey
Yeah.
there. Okay, we're just
I thought it was.
trying to check make sure I had the right buttons pushed here. How are you doing, Royce?
All right. How are y'all this morning?
Cold? Warm in here,
Yeah,
but
it
cold
is cold.
outside.
It is. We haven't had to turn down the heat yet.
No, not yet. My headphones aren't working.
Huh.
Okay.
Here.
Wait.
Kelly's got not hearing you in her ears.
like
either.
it.
it. So,
Yeah, there's a good chance at this point in time we'll have something from a trace to maybe a few inches.
Naysayer.
I know. I laugh at him. I just laugh at him.
Well, I mean, that's what they say. If you will look, every one of those forest cases,
Fine.
possible is what you keep saying.
Oh, it's-
That's what you're reading.
That's
It's
like
just
if.
possible.
You know what, y'all just don't. Rayford just is whatever. So go ahead and keep talking, Royce. Ignore Rayford.
Raver's going to get snowed in, you watch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. I'll be,
I'm gonna
look
laugh
where I'll
when
be
he does
snowed
it.
in.
Good morning,
Well,
Royce.
you were talking about wind and hail insurance with Commissioner Causey. and
Yes.
I talked to Commissioner Causey last week, so I thought y'all get the scoop on my appointment to the board of directors of the North Carolina Insurance Underwriting Association.
Good.
That's the wind and hail insurance.
I need
that
some
we all
good
pay
deals.
for.
See, there you go. Now we've got somebody to go complain to.
Yeah, you'll have somebody to complain to. I don't know. I'm still studying what all they do, so I'm not
Well, it's,
real up on it yet.
when you
but-
take a look at that wind and hail, because this is something that bugs me, and it bugged my dad. It bugs a lot of folks who have never had any wind or hail damage. You got a few shingles off. Nobody claims it anyway. I hope not. Just get them put
Yeah.
back on. But if this is something, and what is the difference in the cost? Lee apparently wrote her own little policy at some point in time, and her rate is extremely low on the wind and hail element. But if I've got the basic homeowner's insurance for a home,
Right.
is my wind and hail multiple times that amount, the premium?
Should not be.
I know it should not be, but that's what it was.
Well, I mean, I think you're right. Just from my personal, and my wind and hail insurance is higher than my homeowner's insurance.
Uh-huh.
I think it depends. Again, like I think Lee said, you got to shop around, like the commissioner said, because some companies will cover wind and hail, and some companies don't want to cover wind and hail, and they make you go outside to the pool, to the beach plan to get wind and hail coverage. So it depends on the insurance
Now,
company that
that's
you're dealing with,
expensive.
whether or not
Yes.
they'll cover wind and hail damage or whether they're going to send you out to the pool. So, yeah, you just gotta shop the insurance. They can, the insurance, and I know people seem to think that insurance is a right or something, but insurance is a contract between you and some insurance company, and they can write anything they want to in the contract within the law. So, they can write in the contract that we're not going to cover any damage that's caused by wind and hail if they want to, and if you agree to it, then that's what you get. So, yeah, I hate these contracts just like anybody else, but you kind of got to read them, or you got to have a good agent that's going to explain them to you what you're buying.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's pretty complicated, but I'm certainly going to do all I can to keep those premiums down for us in
Please.
Eastern North Carolina.
Thank you.
And I don't know how much influence I'll be able to have on the board. I don't, but we'll see. It should be an interesting adventure.
So you've got this appointment now. Let me see. You're chairman of the board of directors for UNWASA. You're on
Does he have time?
you're on the Onslow County Board of Commissioners. You're now on the North Carolina Insurance Commission board, and I know you're on the hospital board too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
You're on the hospital board.
Water.
Yeah, I've got UNWASA, and you've got. You do anything with the dog catcher
Right.
yet?
Well, the commissioners have to do something with the dog catcher.
Uh-huh.
That's one of our biggest complaints. So.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I'm not on the advisory board. I'm not on the advisory board for the animal shelters.
God, I mean, I counted 4 significant, very significant. How do you have time to make a living?
Transportation's a good one that you
And
missed.
transportation.
Transportation. That's
Oh, Lord of
Sherry?
mercy. That's
Yeah.
5.
Did you say
Yeah.
hospital?
We're closing a real estate deal this week, and we'll we keep on working on real estate deals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what keeps me eating. So
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Royce.
anyway,
We talked a couple of weeks ago about Amazon building the warehouse.
Yep.
When I went by there
Uh-huh.
2 weeks ago, there was nothing but some concrete. being poured. You should see it now. There are walls up. I mean, they're not playing. This thing will be built in no time.
I need to go by there. I hadn't been by there and looked at that in a while.
Oh, you can see it
just
from
keep
Gum
seeing the
Branch.
Biscuitville.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Biscuitville too. Aren't we, Kelly?
Oh,
Heck
man.
yeah.
Hey, we're
Have you
Kelly and
got
I are
your
going
woo-wah
first.
here yet?
Got a what?
You got your
you
woo-ha-ha
saw
or
that,
something? Whatever
The
it's-
Wawa.
Nobody
What
cares
the
about
woo?
Wawa.
What in
You
the
saw that the VA facility is going right there on Western Boulevard
Uh-huh.
next.
Wow.
It's been announced the property right past Carolina Forest, next to the
Oh, that's what they're building.
next to the Walmart, the little baby Walmart.
Yes.
Is 11, 12 acres. It's going to be a VA facility.
Goodness.
So that's a long-awaited, needed project that's coming.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we
Right.
got the second
Yeah.
largest marine base in the world, the
Mhm.
largest amphibious marine base in the world, and we got a lot of people settling here.
34,000 veterans.
Yeah, and a lot,
34,000 veterans.
and they stay here because of the possible benefits. They thought they had good veterans benefits here with the VA hospital, medical care,
Yep.
and they complain all the time. I mean, I hear them every day, literally.
Yeah, this clinic's long needed, and but it's finally coming. They've identified the site, and I don't know how long it'll take for the government to build a building. You know how that goes.
Well,
but,
you are the government, aren't you?
But at least well, local government's almost as bad as the federal government.
Oh.
We try not to be that bad.
Okay.
We try to be more efficient than what the federal government is, but a lot of regulation that we have to deal with that comes down from the state and federal levels. So, and we got to abide by their regulations. So,
Got any major roads?
We'll see how Trump. We'll see what Trump does about those regulations. Maybe he'll make it a little bit easier for him.
He said he was going to make it easier in a lot of cases. What about any roads here in Onslow County? We got any new things that are coming up? Any major improvements? I'm thinking of a road called Gum Branch Road.
We just
Well,
need a
I don't-
bypass around there.
Yeah, the improvements that have been done to Gum Branch Road are pretty much finished.
Oh boy.
And the next phase of improvements is probably several years down the road. Gum Branch Road has been our top priority for years now, with DOT. But the money's not there to do what needs to be done to Gum Branch Road. So we'll keep working on that, trying to get them to fund it. But yeah, we had a legislative meeting last week. I guess it was last week with our legislative delegation, and Mike Lazara and Phil Shepard are on the transportation boards for the state. I think they're both interested in trying to get more money funneled into the DOT funds to help our roads, but
I don't hear much from
that's a tough
Phil
one, too.
Shepard.
I don't know where that money is going to come from.
All right, Royce, we appreciate your call on the update this morning. Sir.
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your appointment.
Yeah. Maybe.
Now we know who to call.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Royce.
Bye.
By Royce Bennett, one of our Oslo County Commissioners, and like we just heard there, I think it's 5 boards I just counted that he's involved with.
See, I
don't
couldn't
know.
do that.
I couldn't.
I don't
either.
want to.
Here's one thing that Trump did, and I had no doubt this was going to occur. I did not know there were as many individuals involved. Hunter's laptop from a few years ago. Remember all that hubbub about? Oh, we got his. The FBI said we got that laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it came out on October, just before the election in 2020. There's nothing on there. It's nothing but Russian disinformation.
Mm-hmm.
What? And they actually penned a letter, a group of government officials penned a letter swearing that there's nothing but Russian, trust us.
Smart.
Trust me, they said. There's nothing but Russian disinformation on that
Right.
laptop computer. Well, that turned out to be a big old fat lie after the election was over
Of course.
and Trump was elected. That turned out to be a big old lie. And now Trump has said, well, you know what? There are 51 former national security people involved. He has pulled their security clearances. They have no security clearances anymore.
Well, good.
Gotcha.
Good. We have Chris
Gotcha.
on the phone.
We do. Is this?
Whoa.
I don't even know what. Chris, hang on. I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect. Hold on.
It's the snow. We have snow Armageddon coming.
Rayford don't believe it though. It's all good.
We love harassing him.
Okay, we're gonna try number 2.
Just call back, Chris.
I think he's called back.
I
Let's see
think
if
that's
he's.
him.
Chris, is this
Still
you
me.
That's
finally?
him.
Wow.
It's still me.
We
I'd
got
like
you.
to say it was effects of snowflakes, but
Well, probably the effect of several two-legged snowflakes that I know of.
it could be that too. Good show as usual. I just want to first answer the Wawa question. Wawa.
Woo-ha, wah, wah.
Wow.
Wawa is popular gas station food place. Actually, more known for their
Mm-hmm.
food that they sell. But there's going to be a location on Lejeune.
What is
and Corbin
Waha
Street.
food? I've never heard of a Waha
They
burger.
have
Have you?
food in there
Wawa.
and they sell
Wawa.
ground coffee you can buy in bags.
It's
Wawa.
like a
Wawa,
sheet.
yeah.
It's like a Sheets, Rayford.
Yes.
Nobody
Sheets
cares
and
about the
Wawa
Wawa.
are in huge
Competition with
yes
each other?
competition with
Well,
each other.
according to the TV
Oh, yeah.
set that I watch every night,
Oh no.
it says whatever it is, woo ha 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 ha, coming to you soon.
Yeah. Because
Think-
people go in there to buy the food. That's
Think
what
about
they're
Wawa.
buying.
It says it's coming to me
Exactly.
soon.
Yeah, it's right on
So you're right.
Western. Yeah.
So there is one being built.
Yes.
That's what I was
right
asking.
next to
right next to Jaggers,
Jaggers. Right.
where the old bank was. Yeah.
Oh,
Just think
Yeah,
about
so-
Wawa.
They're real big. They're out of Pennsylvania, but so there's going to be one on Richland Highway and Yelp Road,
Yeah.
Western and Trade Street, Western and Carolina Forest, and Lejeune and Corbin Street.
we're gonna have a bunch of
Yeah,
them.
they're coming in. Oh yeah.
They're coming
Woo-hoo.
everywhere.
There's too many WAs, but people are wanting Wawa.
Wah wah, woohoo, whoopee.
No,
Yippee.
people want the sheets. Let's just talk about that. So nobody
they
cares
do
about
want
stupid
sheets.
old Wawa.
Well, they got sheets
People
in
would have
Hampstead.
sheets.
Drive to Hampstead if you want a sheets.
I don't like anything about Hampstead. I have no desire to
Been
drive to
there,
Hampstead.
and it's to me no different than a Wawa. I love sheets, but they're basically the same.
You need the hot chocolate, Lily.
Yeah, I've had
I made
that.
hot chocolate last night.
I'm just
so-
not a big hot chocolate drinker unless it's
Oh.
at the ball game and it's cold. Then it's special.
Yeah, well, it'll be
Hot
special
chocolate
tonight too.
Gold. So anyway, Chris, what's up?
Whoa!
I just want also a little. So,
Stop.
Rayford, you're doing a good job with everybody is with the snow predictions. I do them. It's about Moorhead. has
Rayford's
one,
not.
Station
Don't
has
lie to
one.
him.
Hey, they're all over the
Rayford's a
place.
naysayer. Chris, stop
Okay.
fluffing his feathers.
They're all over the place. That's
Okay.
what the predictions are. Not me. I'm just reading what they are saying.
Well, let me throw you a new curveball.
Oh, here we
Go
go.
ahead.
The European model. The European model has 8 inches for the
They
coast.
got 8 millimeters. They don't have inches over there.
Yeah. Well, it's just interesting. When I was over at the Dominican Republic, and everything is in meters.
Yeah.
And so I would ask somebody, what's a meter equal in miles? had no clue.
Do you know how far it is in inches? 1 meter?
No,
No, you don't.
I know
Seriously?
3 feet.
I don't and don't care
3
to
feet
know.
equal a yard.
That's another
I'm a
executive
golfer.
order that Trump needs to sign. We need to get rid of.
39.37 inches is 1 meter. It's
We need to
slightly
get rid
longer
of
than a
meters.
yard.
We need to get rid of
Nobody
knots.
cares about meters.
We need to get
knots
rid
is-
of grams.
Knots is a completely different thing.
We-
That's for the
no,
Russian.
throw it on the list. We need to get rid of grams. You ever get a recipe and it says put 500 grams of
Yeah, and then
flour?
you have to look
like-
it up. That's a whole extra step right
When
there.
y'all get through with this show in another 40 minutes, walk up there and look at this thing that we bought a couple of years ago, and Robbie's getting ready to mount it on the wall as soon as it off. It's really cool. It's got all of that information that you need in the kitchen about what equals what.
But you
We
shouldn't
wouldn't have to
all
look it
out.
up if they just say use 12 ounces or
Yep.
something or
I
half a
agree with
cup.
that, Lee.
Well,
Thank you.
How much
Okay.
is a half a cup?
Jim.
Whatever.
How about this one? How about a presidential proclamation of one set time for the year? You know,
Yes,
daylight
I'm all for
savings
that
time,
too.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I think it should be moved forward 1/2 hour.
So I didn't get to watch the live the live inauguration. I was getting out of anesthesia at the time, but
What were
I went
you
back
doing?
and watched it.
He just went in for fun.
One of those things you got to do every 5 years.
Colonoscopy.
Just
all
say
good.
it.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah,
He was
it's all
studying
good.
for it the
Yeah.
night before.
Something important.
Well, and everything. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of studying.
Yeah.
But it all turned out real good.
Yay.
Very
But,
good.
Good job.
I was noticing as they were the outgoing people were going towards the helicopter, and Dr. Jill was waving. I don't think she understood the wave. The people that were waving were not waving like hello, hello. They
No.
were waving.
They were, bye.
Bye. See ya.
Leave us alone.
Little joke for my friend Theo, who I love. But just want to thank all three of you again for your donations to Reach Across America.
My pleasure.
Somebody, Maria, I think Bowman was her name. She actually went on to some other pages and posted very touching
Very good.
post about why this county needs to step up and make sure all these grave sites are covered.
Very nice.
And for us to be at where we're at now, we're over 1,000 total. And our group, your group, our group, Reese Honoring Our Fallen Veterans, responsible for almost 650 of those,
Yay.
speaks volumes to the show and to the people who have donated. And that so far is without businesses. That's without any businesses so far.
Let's
donating
see. So
anything.
we need another 6,000 total. It's from my math. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So
That will make
6,000
us very
total.
safe.
And we've got 11 months and a few days. So 11 months, if we do 500 a month, that's going to put us really close to it. 500 wreaths a month, y'all.
And I meant to call you about this, Chris. Now, if the check is postmarked by the 17th, will they still accept
Yes.
that? Okay, because I meant
Oh,
to
yeah.
tell you there's a business that I know. I think it was 50 that they bought and they mailed it on the
Wow.
17th.
Now, if it was postmarked by January 17th
Right.
at midnight, it will count towards.
Yeah.
Good. Yay.
Hopefully the post office did that.
Oh, bless their
Yes.
heart. If anyone's concerned about their checks, let me please just tell them that I don't have control over the checks, but they go to Maine, and they
Mhm.
told us in a recent meeting that it's going to take about April for them to get through all the checks for all the states and all the grave
I
sites,
can
all
imagine.
the cemeteries. Yeah. So your check will go through, but if it went run through me and there's an issue, you call me and I'll make good on it, and just make extra wreaths for the grave site.
Okay.
And I want to thank you, Rafer, because a lot of people took you up on your saying, send me your credit card information. I'll run it through.
Yep.
I destroy it right after that.
I know you do.
People actually did it. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I did. No
Very
problem.
good. Very good.
Ain't no
And,
big a deal for me. I know who you are. I mean, I trust you.
Yeah, well,
That's-
you know, we're-
I know where you look, but I know who you are. I trust you. And that's, I don't trust everybody.
I appreciate it. We just got another business just came in this morning with
Yeah,
one.
good.
So things are rolling. And again, my thanks to Live and Local Real Talk. You guys are awesome in your support
It
of
is our pleasure.
our
Trust me.
group, our group.
Our,
It's all
our,
our group.
our mob. Well, can we do a flash mob thing one day?
You go right ahead. You and Chris can lead the way.
We can do that, Chris, and just get people to do stuff. Oh well, we'll
Yeah.
see. Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, folks. Y'all have a blessed day and enjoy
You
the snow.
too.
You
All
too.
right.
And when we come back after weather here, I've got something I'm gonna have to question.
Uh-oh.
one of Trump's deals yesterday. So
Okay.
we'll
All
take
right.
that up when we get back here.
Yeah.
How's that?
Okay.
So hang in there. Gale warnings in effect from this evening through Wednesday morning. Northerly winds 15 to 20 knots today offshore now. This is the marine forecast. Gusts up to 30. Seas big, 3 to 5. It should be 2 to 3 near shore, but you don't want to go. Sounds and rivers choppy. A chance of snow and rain today, this afternoon during the day. Northerly winds tomorrow, 20 to 25 knots, gusts to 35. Seas bigger, 5 to 7. Still 2 to 3 near shore. You can't get there, though. Sounds and rivers going to be rough tomorrow. A chance of snow and rain in the morning again. No, this is along the coast, so this system is hanging pretty much near the coast right now. Thursday, northerly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 3 to 5. 2 foot near shore. 2 foot seas near shore. Sounds and rivers, a moderate chop.
Today, we are actually now under a winter storm warning. It's really in effect for tonight, but we're also under a cold weather advisory until between 10 and 11 this morning, temperature-wise. Otherwise, today, mostly cloudy, but the sun's actually out right now, and birds are flying around, so feed your birds. Today, the high is 35. I don't expect it to get that high. North winds, 9 miles an hour with 15-mile-an-hour gusts. According to this, the snow potentially will start in the afternoon, but we'll see. Otherwise, tonight the forecast is snow, that winter storm warning, low of 22, winds 9 to 11 miles an hour with 18-mile-an-hour gusts. According to this, 3 to 5, but the Weather Channel said 4 to 6, so who cares? Tomorrow, cloudy,
Getting that in there.
and a high of 32 with winds 8 to 10 miles an hour with 17-mile-an-hour gusts. So it's going to be cold. Oh, I just thought about Duke Energy. Oh, great. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 15. And on Thursday, a chance of rain and freezing rain with a high of 38. If Duke Energy shuts my power out, I'm going to be on the news. I'm just hit me. I just thought about it.
You'll be a snowbird if you are.
I'll be on CNN or
Okay, now
Fox.
you're talking about 4 to 6
hate
inches or 3 to 5 inches or 9 to
There
12
is a
inches.
difference, Rayford.
There is a difference.
What difference does an inch make?
It makes
It makes a lot, Rayford. A lot.
I got a questionable order I want to talk about,
Okay, go
though I haven't looked at it in any detail.
Right.
It was Trump's pardon of hundreds of those convicted of various criminal activity on January 6th. I got questions. I'm not saying I'm against it.
I know what you're
I
going to
got
say.
questions.
But what do you say?
Many were
agree.
convicted because they were present.
Right.
We know that.
Okay.
I got no problem with pardoning those who were present and did not enter the Capitol.
Right. I have no problem
Okay,
with that.
got no problem with that whatsoever.
Agreed.
Unless they hit somebody on the outside, unless they were told to disperse. If you were told to disperse
And
by
you don't
a
go.
badged, gun-toting person,
Yeah.
and you don't get out of the place,
Then you're guilty, yeah.
you got 1, 2, 3 strikes and you're mine.
I agree with that.
That's the way it
That's right.
goes.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah.
Trump did not pardon. But he commuted the sentences of others who were convicted of serious crimes. I think there were 6.
Yes.
Not that QL weirdo with
I
more
have
though.
no idea.
That weirdo, he
that
better
just-
still be in jail. He's
he
weird.
just needs the guillotine.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have questions when one person pardons anyone. When one person, president, a governor, anybody except God or the Supreme Court,
Right.
decides that I stand above the law, above what the law has said. I'm not disputing that they can do it. I'm not disputing that they should do it in certain cases. It was set up in the beginning because some people went through kangaroo courts. Apparently, people are still being judged by a kangaroo court. They were presumed guilty before they were ever arrested or tried. Fact. We know it. We
Yeah.
saw it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the investigation was not prejudiced. I'm not saying that that January 6th investigation, that committee that did the investigating, the FBI agents and others who have been investigating, I'm not saying that they were guilty or not guilty. I do not know.
Well, some of them are on video, like that guy with
Those
the
on
horns
video,
and the
yeah,
fur,
got
whoever
that.
that guy's weird. Him, I mean, that's a blatant. You can't
yeah.
dispute.
No, you can't.
You cannot dispute that.
I really
guy.
hope that Trump has a team that has, over the past 4 years, he's had 4 years,
Yeah.
has seriously looked into the charges, the trials, and the convictions of each and every one of these individuals, and he didn't just do a blanket pardon. I don't like a blanket pardon.
I agree.
Okay,
I
that's
don't like
just
pardon before you
wrong.
commit a crime. I want one of those.
Joe Biden could not have, would not have, did not, I will say that, did not examine 37 people who were
No,
on death row for committing heinous crimes that warranted the death penalty.
correct.
He only looked at 3 people, the 3 people that he did not commute their sentences on federal death row. And why? Because it would have been politically suicidal. The guy that killed the people in Charleston at the church. Politically,
Right.
that would have been a suicidal mission if he had
Yes.
pardoned that guy
Yes.
or commuted
Yes.
his sentence.
The
A single man, a single person, man or woman, should not be able to overthrow a court decision if there is overwhelming evidence to prove a judicial scam was committed. He should be able, if it's proven, if there is overwhelming evidence to prove that some sort of a judicial scam had been committed, then I'll give him the option, the legal option that he has to pardon that individual. Otherwise, no. My opinion. Y'all are welcome to agree or disagree. 910-333-0139.
Now, when he gives a full pardon, that means you're out of jail, you're done, go home.
Uh-huh.
The only problem I have with it is there were a couple that were sentenced because they indirectly, because of their actions, caused the death of a police officer. Do you think they should be fully pardoned?
Tell me the circumstances of that. How did they directly or indirectly cause the death of this officer?
One of them sprayed an officer with mace several times. He ended up having a reaction to it and had a heart attack and passed away. Would you say that was maybe manslaughter?
It was definitely assault.
Involuntary
Okay.
manslaughter? Assault?
No,
what would you say?
First thing you got to do for a death situation like that is show that he committed an assault. So he did that. It's kind of like speeding before you get arrested for DWI or whatever. You get stopped for some reason. Generally, oftentimes other than the DWI stop. But in this case, he should have been arrested and charged with assault. It's not going to be with a deadly weapon because mace is not considered to be a deadly weapon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If he knew this individual, or he had read the warnings or knew of the warnings, the possibilities of something happening that could cause a heart attack. I'm not sure that just spraying a person with mace is going to be, I don't know that you can prove that caused the heart attack.
Right. I mean, I understand. I have mixed feelings on it. Here's one guy that he pardoned. Timothy Desjardins of Providence was the first Rhode Islander to face charges in the Capitol riot. At the time, he was already headed to prison for firing a bullet that had grazed a man's head in Walgreens parking lot and for his involvement in an armed standoff with Providence police. He was charged with several counts, including civil disorder, assaulting a police officer with a dangerous weapon, entering
What was
and
the dangerous
remaining.
weapon?
It did not say. Disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or on a restricted ground with a deadly or dangerous weapon, engaging in physical violence in a restricted building or on a restricted
He's
ground
inside the
with a
Capitol.
deadly or dangerous weapon, violently entering and being disorderly on the grounds of the Capitol, physical violence in a Capitol building and or Capitol
No,
grounds.
I'd never pardon him.
See, now he's one of the cases that's being pardoned.
I knew he was charged with that. Was he convicted of all of that?
He's yet to go. He was supposed to go
Oh,
to
okay, then,
court. Let me
no,
see.
no.
The case against him was still pending as of January 8th. Court
Okay, here's
records
the
say.
situation with charges.
Mm-hmm.
They got him charged with it.
Right.
I would wait to pardon this individual until after the trial.
See, these are part of the pardons that I kind of
Those
have a
people
little
who
bit
have
of an
not
issue
gone to
with.
court yet, unless there's something so egregious that the guy wasn't there or that he was whatever, unless there's some physical evidence, some guaranteed that, hey, I had nothing to do with this. I never even showed up at the Capitol. I got proof of it. Here it is.
Right.
If it's something he could show to a court and a reasonable jury would say, no, he had nothing to do with it, and it would be an obvious, I would say no. I would pardon somebody like that. But the guy who's charged with all of those,
Mm-hmm.
hold on, but let me finish this now.
Yes.
I do know that it was a habit, and during this investigation, when you're looking for these individuals, if they could have found them jaywalking on their way to the Capitol, they would have charged them with that. They piled on. It's something that in lots of circumstances, you pile on and you pile on and you pile on.
Right.
It's kind of like in a lot of police chases. You could write them for speeding on every street that they go on.
Yes.
You could charge them with running a red light 40 times. You could charge them with this reckless operation 40 times. They don't generally do that. You will find it from time to time, but they charge them with, the eluding, the trying to get away, the speeding, and if they hit a car, of course, or they hit somebody or hurt somebody, obviously you charge them with all of that. But to just pile on for street after street after street.
Because I'm looking at some of these.
That is what did occur with some of these cases.
That's what it's showing on some of these where like there was one that was charged with 5 counts. And by the time he went to court, it was reduced down to 2 counts. Serve a couple months in prison, a fine, you're out. But some of these that involved the officers that ended, I think there was 2 officers. Didn't a female get killed too?
I don't know anybody that got killed. I know
what died as a result.
They died, as they say, as a result of them being involved.
Right.
I don't know if it was because he got sprayed. I would have to see more on that.
There was
because he can't be allergic to it because to be a cop, he was sprayed with it before.
There was a Metropolitan Police officer, Michael Fanoni, who lost consciousness and suffered a heart attack after a rioter shocked him with a stun gun.
Now that would be yes, I'd charge him.
Yes. See, so I mean,
to me, that's not a whole lot of difference than shooting the guy and you don't kill him, you wound him. But he has a heart attack and dies, you could be charged with murder.
Well, what's the difference between Mason and him having a reaction? Man?
Well, him having a reaction, he
had 2 strokes as a result.
He does not normally have a reaction to mace because he's been through I'm sure he went through the gas chamber.
That's a good point. Okay? Yes.
So if he made it through the gas chamber, he's not allergic to it. Probably couldn't be a cop if he was allergic to mace.
I understand. Yeah, because how many times in your lifetime when you were wearing mace did you go to spray somebody and get a little bit of it?
Oh, I got a lot of it.
My former husband, whenever he sprayed the can, we all got it. Didn't matter where you were standing.
Spray and pray.
It was always in the wind.
Yeah.
In the direction of where the wind was coming. Here's Robin calling. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to really read into the stories and know more about it.
Yeah,
but
Robin, you've been sprayed with mace, or you've been through the gas chamber how many times?
Say that again.
You've been sprayed with mace. That's the question, right?
I've been sprayed with mace and OC spray about 6 times. I was an OC instructor, and like bobbing your head in a French fryer. They fire.
That's the pepper spray. That's the bad stuff. Yeah.
Pepper spray is not very good, but I think you spray somebody, an officer like that, or anybody else with mace or OC spray. That to me would be very close to being a deadly weapon in the sense that you can disable an officer and then use whatever means violence to hurt the officer, kill the officer, whatever. So I'm a little different on that. But let me just say this. Let me caveat by saying that I'm glad that President Trump is the president. I voted for him.
Yep.
And I think he's going to do great things.
I'm happy he's there.
that these 1,500 pardons or whatever he did showed a little bit of revenge on his part. In my personal opinion, it was politically motivated to show them and to show the rest of the Democratic Party that went after him and all the people that went after him, like Manny Boo Boo. Here I am, I'm the president. Guess what I'm going to do? If you're going to do these stupid pardons that Biden did at the last minute, the 11th hour, I'm going to pardon these people. So I don't agree with the pardon of 1,500 individuals. Are you kidding me? As far as I'm concerned, if you go to the White House and you're told to disperse, or you put up a fight, you try to storm the building, I don't care who you like or dislike within Congress, they give you the right to storm the Capitol or anything like that.
That's correct.
I don't really believe in the 1,500 blanket pardons, and I think that was a political move on his part, and that's my opinion. Do I think that Trump's wrong for this country? Absolutely not. I think he's the best thing to hit this country in the last 4 years, that's for sure. And again, I voted for him. But I think that move, the 1,500 pardon, was a little bit, I don't know what the right word is, but...
over the hill, over the top. He shouldn't have done it. He cannot show me, if he can show me case by case where he, with a team, went through each and every case, and that this person, all 1,500 of these people were clean and should not have been arrested. If he can show me why they should not have been arrested.
Yeah, well, that's never going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
These people, they're a team of attorneys and staff members that review this and tell the president what needs to be done, and I just don't think it's right. And the fact that Biden pardoned people like a preemptive pardon, it kind of reminds me of that movie. I think it's called Minority Report with Tom Cruise. If you think about a crime that they can investigate you and put you away or stuff, it's just ridiculous. And of course, Biden's a liar anyway. He's proven that so many times, and so are most of his Democratic staff. But no, I don't think the move that Trump did, 1,500 pardons, blanket pardon, I don't think it's right. Should some of the people be pardoned? Absolutely, depending on their involvement. But then, like you said, to research each and every one of them is going to take time, so much time. And Trump is not about time. Trump is about now. Let's get this done now. And,
if I was in his shoes, if I was in his shoes, okay, I never will be, of course, don't want to be, but if I was in his shoes, I would say to each and every one of those 1,500 or however many, you guys present your case to my team. I will have a group. You guys write up exactly. You better tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, or I'll get you. But write it up and present it just like you would to anybody else. A one-page document. I'll have somebody look it over. They can look over 1,500 pages. My God, what a big team could, and take a look-see. And if it even seemed like a possibility, then go further. But I'll guarantee you, those 1,500, you're going to probably find right off the bat that 2,000 of them are going to say, well, 1,500 out of 1,000 of that 1,500, you're going to look at them and say, yeah, this dude is guilty of sin. I'm not going to do anything with him. I got nothing for him.
Yeah, the pardons, the pardons that they grant, the presidential pardons, I think is a crock of crap anyway, because, it's a tool that they use to politically treat individuals to make themselves look good, or whatever it is. It's politically motivated. And, I still have problems with the Secret Service agent or the Capitol Police officer, whoever it was, that shot and killed the lady during the riot. But then again, she put her life on the line by wouldn't listen, and the officer felt threatened. So I'm not going to judge that particular one. Mm-hmm. I still have an issue with it. But bottom line is these pardons are used for political movement, and that's all they are.
Yes.
And I think we should get rid of them, period. Because you got all these executive orders that he's signing, all of them, which are good. I watched him last night at the press conference. The way he interacted with the press is phenomenal. I think that's what the American public wants.
Over an
But
hour.
when you get to the 1,500 people, that to me, that just kind of lowered him a little bit. That was a political movement, and I didn't really appreciate that. But then again, I'm not sitting in his shoes. It's done. He signed it. It's over with. We got to move on.
Yeah. Now, put your criminal investigative brain to work here for just a second. If you were investigating, and let's just say that you were investigating one of the Biden family members. I call it the Biden syndicate right now, based upon those pardons yesterday. But if you were investigating one or more of those individuals as a possibility of committing some sort of a crime, and then suddenly their relative, Uncle Joe or Daddy Joe or whatever Joe, pardons them before you could bring any charges, if you were possibly going to, would that not solidify in your brain that they were guilty of something?
Mhm.
Well, it would do a couple things. I've actually had that happen during my career.
Goody.
Some people were involved in issues that we were investigating. We knew they were guilty, but some high level personnel got involved, and next thing I know, the investigation kind of shuffled, and not enough attention was put on it. I was told to cease and desist, to let this go, let so and so handle this.
So
I've been there, and I know that feeling, and that's a real sucky feeling, because especially if you know somebody's guilty and you're putting all this man hour into an investigative case, trying to bring charges, and all of a sudden.
So in your mind, at that time, they said, stand down, young man, stand down. We're not going to go any further with this. And would you have been convinced in your own mind that that person was guilty?
I'd be convinced. Well, a couple of things would happen, and it happened to me. First of all, I'd be convinced that they're guilty. They're trying to cover something up. Because, somebody's got somebody pushing somebody's buttons. But the other thing that stand down, I would discreetly do my own investigation behind the scenes, kind of like with what's his face, John Legato talks about, going rogue.
Oh yeah.
But in a good sense. I mean, really. And there've been a couple of cases in my career that I know the individual is guilty as sin. I had the evidence, but I didn't have the direct evidence, but I knew the person was involved, especially one that was considered a suicide. To this day, I believe he was part of it, and he was a homicide. But, it's just, what do you do with that? I mean, you have to deal with that, and it's frustrating, and you got one of two choices. You either continue on or you retire. So I retire.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I know of one of those cases in Wilmington involving a federal agent that I know bloody well that his wife did not commit suicide. In my head, I'm pretty dang sure she did not. It just worked out that he was a volatile individual in the first place, and he got mad and made some phone calls and did everything else, and suddenly people came to the house and found her dead.
Well, NCIS, I'll give my former agency props. NCIS, we do things differently. We classify all homicides under the case category of, not homicides, but all death investigations under the case category 7H. And then within then you have whether it's a suicide, whether it's negligence, whatever it might be.
Yep.
But I will give our agency props, because when you had a suicide case and everything appears to be suicide, we still conducted the crime scene. We still conducted interviews. We still did we did the DNA. I mean, our investigation wasn't open and shut within 2 weeks. We would keep a death investigation. I had a suicide that was open for 6 months. And during that 6-month time, we did all kinds of blood work. We did all kinds of ballistics. And then we did what's called a forensic psychological analysis from our headquarters, which is a different thing. It's a forensic psychiatric review of the individual and everything else, whether it be from social media back then, whatever social media it was, but from letters, all kinds of stuff. And they would, at that point, they would paint a picture of this particular individual and why he did that. So, so we investigate suicide from an NCIS standpoint just as thoroughly, if not more so, than we would a regular homicide. Because we want to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. And then, even when we get done with our investigation, it goes up to what we call the DRB, the Death Review Board, which is in Washington, D.C., Mount Quantico, where a panel of street agents that sit on that board analyze the whole investigation to determine whether or not you need to run another lead or whether or not you can shut the investigation down. And 9 out of 10 times, they would find something that they wanted the loophole to be closed out. They say, go back and interview Tom Smith, find out what's going on with this, and verify this particular person's initial statement. So I'll give like I said, I'll give NCIS kudos for that because they do a very, very thorough, exhaustive review of suicide cases.
I had two of them that I was helping the another agency, sheriff's office here, years and years ago, and with a detective, the lead detective was Bill Woodward at the time before he was sheriff. And
I remember him.
Yeah,
I remember him.
Bill was a great guy. I mean,
Right.
a wonderful guy. Common sense. If there's ever been a caught with common sense, he had common sense. And but there was a case there. I'll tell you about it in person. And we both got the bejesus scared out of us. And it was a death investigation involving a woman. And things looked one way, then they looked another way, then they came out. We figured it out. But we had our guns in our hand there for a minute. And then another case at the sheriff. It was an attempted suicide. Turned out not to be an attempted suicide. It was an attempted murder that turned out not to be an attempted murder. It turned out to be an attempted suicide. But the evidence was disposed of. But guess who found it?
Oh.
Me.
Oh, okay.
In 15 feet of water.
Like I said, there have been cases, and the one case that comes to mind, I had a dependent wife who committed suicide with a 12-gauge shotgun she put to her head.
Oh, my.
And anyway, long story short, I suspected her husband of being involved or being there at least during the time she committed alleged suicide. And we went through all the ballistics. We did the blood splatter because there was blood splatter everywhere. And they, we did everything right. And that investigation was open for a year and a half. I talked to the individual 3 times during an interrogation, and he talked to me, which was kind of unusual. Then he finally terminated. And when he terminated, his father showed up to my office. His father was a retired high up in the FBI agent. And he got involved, and he sat in the interview, the last interrogation. He asked to sit in it, and I let him. And it was a go rope. And to this day, then he got out. He was ruled subsequently a suicide. The individual tried to befriend me on Facebook, and then he moved to Alaska. And to this day, that's one of the cases that stays with me, that I know in my mind that he was there, or he took part in this alleged suicide, which was a homicide. But I just couldn't put the final nail in his coffin to secure it.
There's going to always be one or two of those.
Yep. So, but anyway,
drop by sometime. We'll lie about it to each other. How's that?
That sounds good, man. You guys have a great day, and that's my opinion, and we'll see you later.
All right.
Something that Kelly had pointed out to me, and then I just got a text on it too, so I'm sure that Kelly wanted to say something. Do you remember Stuart Schiller when he does story about him, where he defied an order by his commanding officer because he was going on social media and blasting different...
Oh, yeah.
Well, guess what?
What now?
He was selected for a DOD position serving President Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth.
Well.
And he says, this is on his Twitter account, his X account. For the first time in a while, I am filled with hope and optimism for our country. Words can't express how humbled and excited I am to start the new position. The transition team offered me the job 2 weeks ago, but I waited until the morning of the inauguration to make this information public. I didn't want my announcement complicating the confirmation process.
Yeah, okay.
I truly believe Pete is the Secretary of Defense the war fighters deserve.
Okay. Let's see. We're going to try to get a couple of calls in here. All
right.
Good morning. Who's this? Are you there?
Steve.
Okay, Steve, you're on the other line. Good morning.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
There he is. Gotcha.
All right.
Good.
All right. Oh, mercy. Y'all ready for a snowmageddon?
Yeah, bring it on. Let's get it over with. Let's do it.
A slightly light dusting.
Yes. And it's Robin calling back again.
I've got everything battened down. I'm ready for it to happen if it's going to happen.
Well, you should be all right there.
Talking about this morning. Yeah, I heard y'all talking this morning about the couple that had sprayed the officer with mace.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know a lot about it. I'm just telling you, I don't know much about it personally, but go ahead.
Right. I could be mistaken, but I think they say mace, but what it actually was bear spray,
Could
which
be.
is different than the commercial mace that you're thinking of.
Uh-huh.
It's made to stop an 800-pound grizzly bear in its tracks. It has a very high concentration of
The
that.
458 Magnum fired from a bolt action rifle will stop a grizzly bear in its tracks.
If you're a good shot,
Headshot
but
or center of mass.
but yeah,
Either one.
like I said, I don't know that it's significant in somebody dying or not,
That's right.
but I do know that bear spray is way different than the normal pepper spray that most people are familiar with.
I don't know
And
about the
most people
pepper.
knew that,
I don't know
and that's
about the
why-
bear
that's why they
spray.
bought-
I don't know about the bear spray on humans. I know about the pepper spray on humans, and I don't like it. Don't want it. Didn't carry it. I did carry a lot of mace, and I sprayed a lot of mace. Pepper spray is nasty. It lasts for a long time.
I'm already.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
here's a warning. Here is a warning on pepper spray for you guys who may want to go buy a can of pepper spray. On the law enforcement version of the pepper spray, I don't know about the stuff you buy across the counter, but the law enforcement on the bottom of it, they will say causes respiratory distress. In other words, you spray somebody who is an asthma victim, has hay fever or a sinus infection or whatever, they can die.
You're absolutely correct. It was bear spray, and one of the officers described himself being unable to breathe or see without unbearable, torturous pain.
Right. The active ingredient capsaicin, or I can't
Yes.
pronounce
That's-
it right.
that's
whatever it is
standard.
in bear spray.
Right.
Well, that's also
I
in
think
mace
Oh,
and
yeah, that is.
pepper
yeah.
spray.
Right.
Oh,
I think the
oof.
concentration is twice as high in bear spray as it is in what they sell to.
I would hope it
What's across the what is sold
Right.
and at the drugstore or wherever you go buy it is going to be
Right.
half strength of what law enforcement carries.
Right, but I believe the bear spray slightly exceeds what law enforcement.
I don't know.
did, and most people knew that. That's why they bought and brought bear spray. So they knew.
I have no idea.
Way different. It's more like the I don't know for sure, but it's a much stronger concentration of the active ingredient.
Okay,
than you would
I will
find in
have to
pepper
look it
spray.
up and find out because I do not know.
But at any rate, like I say, the point though is that those people knew that when they bought that bear spray and when
Mhm.
they brought it to Washington.
You spray me with bear
premeditated.
spray, you spray me with pepper spray, and you know what? I'm probably going to react accordingly, and you're not going to like it.
Yeah. And as far as Trump
Yes.
pardoning all those people, kind of expected it.
I didn't.
don't really agree with it, but
Mhm.
he's got that power, man.
He does, and I didn't like it. I don't like it. Wholesale pardoning of everybody is just kind of like the like Castro did, turned the nutcases loose and the criminals loose back in the 80s, was it? From prison and psycho wards in Cuba and put them on boats and let them come to America. That occurred. That was a wholesale delivery to us. I don't like that.
But I would say, Biden pardoned a whole bunch of people on the way out, and Trump
Yes.
pardoned a whole bunch of people on the way in. But in my opinion, we still have problems that far exceed any of that.
Yep.
All of that's trivial.
Hopefully we get to the bottom of a bunch of it.
to concentrate on the things that matter.
All right. Thank you, Steve-O. See you Friday.
Y'all have a blessed day.
You
Stay
too.
home.
You too, Steve.
Get your snowboard out. Bye. Okay, we still have, is this Robin again?
Either that
Yes,
or,
sir.
oh, there he
There he
is.
is. Got you.
Hey, just real quick, since I hung up the phone with you guys, I got word that, we have a commissioners meeting tomorrow.
I was going to ask
Scheduled
you.
for 6 o'clock.
Right.
That's been canceled, so the next meeting will be in February.
Okay,
And it's
got
been
you.
canceled because of the incoming weather.
Well,
that we're
Robin,
expecting.
I was going to ask you, has the Onslow County Emergency Operations or the office of the county, have they sent out any weather bulletins? They usually do that.
Kevin did some.
I should be expecting some probably this morning email, so
All
I'll do
right.
that. And
They
if I get any, I'll post them on my site.
All right.
But
But we haven't, go ahead.
there was an active shooter drill scheduled for today, I think, and again tomorrow or the day after here in Onslow County at a couple of different schools. That's been canceled.
That's right.
That's
School's
off.
out.
That's off.
That's right.
That's off the books right now. Okay.
Good.
So So once I find out some information, I'll post it on my page and let everybody know.
Okay, sounds good.
And real quick, it's called Oleo Resin Capisco. That's what it is.
There you go.
OC spray.
Yeah, I call it OC. I'm a simple person. All right. On the local front, Jacksonville police are investigating the shooting deaths of 2 people over the weekend. The bodies of the 2 were found in a residence at Charleston Place Apartments when officers were conducting a welfare check on Sunday afternoon. The names of the 2 are not being released pending notification of families. NCIS is assisting Jacksonville police. They're doing a joint investigation in this case. I'm not saying anything else about that. Police say there is no concern to the public and the investigation is ongoing. They will release more details as soon as the families are notified and they have some more details, definitive details they can release. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Tragic situation either way, whatever. And, we all read between the lines, but we do not know anything until they come up and tell us something. So speculate all you want, you guys that are on Facebook. We don't.
All right. And the meeting tonight for the public input on picking a new superintendent for Onslow County Schools, that was scheduled for tonight and that has been postponed.
Okay.
So stay home tonight.
So they're not going to make me the superintendent tonight then, right?
Not tonight.
Hey,
But stay home and enjoy your peace and quiet and
the gentle fluttering of snowflakes, all 14 of them falling from the sky.
We'll see what happens.
I'll post some pictures of my far tonight. How's that sound?
You go right ahead. I may have mine going too.
Yeah, but mine's going to smell good and look good. Sounds good too.
Mine's going to keep the air clean.
Snap, crackle, pop. Chris hit me up with some firewood.
I want to go back to burning wood, but I need someone to come out and inspect my fireplace.
You got a lot of work to do that. Do that during the summer.
Yeah. And
get it clean.
All I need is, I think it's pretty clean, but I want to have it checked by a professional. Then I need to take the cover off the top of the chimney and I need to put some vents in there. So.
And you also need to
covers.
go on, get somebody, a skinny one, to climb down the chimney, a chimney sweep, and clean it all the way down.
That's what I meant. That's what.
A real skinny person.
Yeah. No, I would normally clean it myself, but I'm past the age of climbing onto the roof.
Well, it's not climbing on the roof; it's climbing down into the chimney.
No, it's climbing back off the roof.
Well, gravity.
That's what scares
gravity
me.
will help you there. Not a problem. Yeah. Okay, tomorrow we got Dr. Rosemary Stein. She'll probably be scheduled to be in here as well tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see.
Talk about
see who all comes to work.
Well, he needs to be in here tomorrow. If he's not in here tomorrow,
you better hope we show up. We all may be zooming in. Depends on.
I don't have Zoom.
We've got Skype.
Skype we got.
Yeah, but hopefully, I'm sure everything will be fine.
It'll be just fine.
I'm gonna go put a blanket in my truck and extra
shovel,
and a shovel,
some MREs,
some sandwiches.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we'll be good.
Just stop by and get your packet of square nabs. That's a square meal.
Well, please, everyone, be safe.
Yeah,
whatever you do,
whatever's going to happen, don't get out there and get stupid in it.
And please, like walking out your front door onto the sidewalk.
Yes.
If there's black ice out there, you're going to slip. You're going to fall. You're going to break a hip, break a knee. Something.
There are a lot of mishaps that occur with snow and ice and stuff like that. But I won't give you 1989. The biggest snowfall I've ever been in, which was right here in eastern North Carolina.
I was in it.
15, 17, 18, wherever somebody has got probably 400 inches there somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, whatever it was, I think the official was about 15, 16 inches at the airport in Wilmington.
Yeah.
That's where I was. But I had a four-wheel drive, big 4-wheel drive. I could go pretty much anywhere, and I did.
Right.
And being in TV, and I was carrying my people back and forth to their homes so they could come in and I could transport them out to shoot stories and stuff.
Right.
And one of the events I heard over the radio scanner, there was an emergency call. A man was injured, seriously injured, and out in the snow behind a golf course.
Right.
And off of Eastwood Road in Wilmington. And so I went out there and I got out there, and rescue was there, EMS was there, and they had a couple people. And we all walked down. I'm carrying a camera too, but I gave it off to a guy that was with me. I said, you know, these people only got 2 people here. This might require some assistance. So I got
Right.
down there and I held his head up while we got the snow out of his
Oh, wow.
from around him. Just held it steady
Right.
because he had been doing flips out in the snow and he fell and he broke his neck
You don't know what you're landing on.
and he was
underneath that
paralyzed
snow.
for
Oh
the
my
rest of
gosh.
his life.
That is so
from the neck
sad. See,
down.
it's just open your blinds, look at the pretty snow.
Do not get out there and get stupid. He did.
Yeah.
He thought the snow would be real deep and he was just doing flips in it and he landed on something that was very hard.
That is horrible.
Okay, people,
Bring your pets in
don't
too.
do that.
Yes.
And, yeah. So, and then trying to get him up, the EMS guys are getting him on a stretcher without, after they disabled, you know,
Right.
kept his neck moving. They didn't know what was wrong, but standard collar.
Right.
And then it took the 2 of them, me and one other person, a volunteer, to take him out of the woods. It was through a wooded area.
Oh, wow.
It was,
Yeah,
it was an
I mean,
awful scene.
People want to have fun. They want to enjoy the snow.
Have
and
fun, but
sometimes
don't
they
get
don't think about
stupid.
things like that.
Don't get stupid.
Right. But be safe and bring
Okay.
your pets in, please.
Tomorrow we'll see you with a little dusting of snow on the ground. And
we'll see.
Dr. Rosemary Stein again joining us at about 7:30. Peter Wright.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And
Possibly.
and
Yes.
if he
Yeah.
doesn't come, is not able, set him up for Thursday.
Yeah.
No need
that's
to miss a
not
day
problem
because it's kind of
whatsoever.
important. Some of the stuff that's happening out there right now.
Yes, it is.
And I'm getting blasted every day. Then I'm going to tell him the good news about my new card that I went to the drugstore yesterday.
Oh, good.
You're live and local, Real Talk, where we're always awake, we're never woke, and we'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early. Bye.